Live. Okay. Okay. Buen dia, good morning. Soy John Albert, aka reTIRED, aka Biker John. My world upon wheels, retire world bike tour. Need to turn this around. This is the time for me to turn around, literally. Turn my bicycle to sunrise. I am eastbound, or was eastbound, on Montana, US 62 180. And this is why I am turning around. I'm changing my route because of the sun. And it is blinding as it comes up. One of the two most dangerous times possible for people to be out operating their vehicles, specifically bicycles, is going east in the morning into the sun and sunrise. And this next most dangerous time is going west at sunset, because the sun is absolutely blinding. Let's see. Just passed by several vehicles. You cannot see the vehicles. You can see. Let me close this up a little bit here. So I am definitely turning around now, or possibly if I wait here long enough, I can continue going straight. Okay. There's that vehicle, a couple other vehicles. There goes the sheriff. I'm pretty well protected. I am in a kind of a construction area right here. Let's show this a little bit. This is Saul Kleinfeld. And Montana. Okay, there we go. And back to the blinding sun. Of course, I'm very tempted to go over there. It's a gas station, which means I could get a cup of coffee if I wanted. Do I want? I could do that. Okay. You can see that sun is just absolutely blinding. Let's close it back up. Sit back, sit down. Okay. Okay, see my rear view. Okay, good. I can hear the vehicles coming up behind me. Well, they're there. Let's see. You can see I'm quite left here. This is the three eastbound lanes of Montana US 62 180. And this is actually good bicycling east of Yucky Yarborough. It's got a decent shoulder. Not here on this left-hand side. It's left of this left-hand side. But the right-hand side has a good shoulder. In fact, when I retired 31st December 2017, this was the road that I took out going east, far east. Continued all the way east, went to that was on my beloved Double Vision back before I knew how weak I was getting. and I say weak, I mean aged out. Went from El Paso to Cornudas, overnight at May's Cafe. What a great place that is. Then from May's Cafe, continued east until I got to Del City, Del City turnout. Went north and then camped there overnight. Had a great meals in Del City, and then came back to Montana US 62180 to go east, continue going east, and a tremendous tailwind to push me across the Salt Flat. And then was camped in the Guadalupe Mountains, just perfect underneath the Guadalupe Peak there. It was just incredible. And I made a decision to camp there because of the beauty of it. And I said, well, I made a conscious decision because I knew I had to go over the pass the next morning. And the question was, should I continue going over the pass with this tremendous tailwind pushing me? Or can I enjoy this incredibly beautiful campsite? It's rough camping. And run the risk that the wind may change. And sure enough, overnight, the tailwind became a headwind. It took me all morning to get over Guadalupe Pass. And part of the reason it took me all morning is that besides the fact that I was pretty strong, at that time it had become a strong headwind and steep uphill. But I was also weak. I was aging out. I just didn't recognize it at the time. But anyway, this is US 62180, Montana Avenue, US 62180. East of Yucky Yarborough, it is a great bicycling road. Let's see, got through Guadalupe, went to continue east. There's for Carlsbad Caverns, cut off at Carlsbad Caverns, ate there. And I needed some food because I hadn't eaten since I had emergency food, but I hadn't had much of a meal until I got to the cutoff of Carlsbad Caverns. And then from there I got into Carlsbad. What a great overnight stay that was. And then from Carlsbad continued east to the cutoff down to Eunice. And that also involved the rough camp out somewhere along US 62180. But I had emergency food, and of course water is always critically important. Got the Eunice, bloody cold that night too, and I was prepared to camp out again if needed. Fortunately, the Oriole Patch Motel had a cancellation at the last minute, and I got a room for the night. Just amazing. Which was fine because that's where I wanted to turn south anyway. That's put me on Route 18 going south. And let's see how we're doing here. This is good. And I overnighted in Howell or Jow, New Mexico. Met the great John Earp. And I had great food there. I just loved it. And then continued south on Route 18 from New Mexico into Texas. I've forgotten the name of the place. But anyway, my goal was to get to Doug Antrim's home in Grand Falls, Texas. Camped out. I've eaten a couple of places, and I've had good food. And I've amped up my emergency food supply. Camped at the Windmill Rest Area. It was absolutely great. In fact, Doug and his daughter Stephanie came by where I was camped. Said, throw your double vision into the back of our pickup and we'll just take you home. I said, no, I need to pedal it. You're not that far anyway. So next morning I did pedal down to Grand Falls, south to Grand Falls, Royal Grand Falls, and I spent the weekend with them in their home in Grand Falls, Texas. It was just great. Went to church on Sunday with them. His wife was a deacon or a pastor or something like that with the Episcopal Church in Alpine, Texas. So, and I hate to admit it, but I wasn't there for religion, except to sustain myself because they had a potluck. But it was nice meeting these friendly people, and I would go around and I'd talk with each and every one of them, give them my personal card, and tell them a little bit about the bicycling I'm doing. Following me was Doug, who said he didn't know me, he just picked me up because he felt sorry for me. I was bicycling down the road. He disassociated himself as much as he could from me. But the fact is, Doug, very good friend of mine. And I am so glad that I cycled over to see him and his family, Stephanie, and his grandson, Scott. And they were volunteer firefighters, and it was just real nice there in Grand Falls, Texas. I'm so glad I went to see him because within a couple of months he had died. He died, so. But after that was when from there, Grand Falls, I continued on down to Fort Stockton, and Fort Stockton to Marathon, where I stayed in one of the finest rural hostels in the world, in Marathon, La Cueva. Let's see, what was it? I don't remember exactly the name. Stayed there for a couple of nights, then made sure my emergency food supply was sufficient, and I continued on to Big Bend National Park. And that's a good thing I stocked up my emergency food supply because I camped out a couple of nights. Got into Big Bend, and so it what I could on that, and it was absolutely great. And that's the only time to go to Big Bend National Park is in the winter. It's too hot in the summer. Well, that sun is looking real good. I may be able to continue. It looks like I have enough. I may be able to continue going east. I haven't had a coffee, so, oh well, that's okay. I got the sunrise. But anyway, I was back at, going from Big Bend. Then I had when I got to, I forgot where the headquarters is, but it's a T intersection, and just great because I had a tremendous tailwind from there. Basically, fastest I have ever gone on my bike, on a bicycle. Just about the fastest was 49 miles an hour, 81 clicks an hour, as it just pushed me in to the western entrance exit of Big Bend National Park. Unfortunately, the road turned due north, became Texas 118. And I say unfortunately because that tremendous tailwind became a side wind, and it blew me all over the road. I teared up. It became extremely dangerous. I'm just glad there weren't any other vehicles on the road at that moment. I've been dead, would have been killed dead there. Got into Study Butte, beautiful, what a great place that Study Butte is. Unfortunately, not there, but I was continuing on over to Presidio, Ojinaga, when I fell. And that pretty much stopped any further progress going on that route. So I returned back to Study Butte. Enjoyed great food. Then continued, and then went north on 118 to Alpine. But it took me a couple of nights. My first night was at the Ranch Motel. Totally unexpected overnight. Unexpected to be there. Great food, made by one of the best cooks that region of Texas. It was just amazing. Next night, camped out at Elephant Hump or something like that. My emergency food had started to go bad, so I couldn't eat it. That's okay. So I continued on. Some construction highway crews gave me, let's move this up a little bit, gave me more water, refilled my water bottle, which was what I needed because I had to go over the pass to get into Alpine. Got in Alpine, and my much better half decided it was time for me to be picked up. But that was January and February 2018. What a great bike tour that was. Back before I knew how weak I was. Okay, speaking of weak, I am going to turn this around, move this out again, I think. Anyway, soy John Iberg, aka Juanito Iberg, aka Biker John. The sun is now sufficiently high where it's no longer going to be blinding and I could get rear-ended and killed. I just need to turn off my lights and get gone. Gracias. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again in the future. Adios. Let's see. How about that? Did I do it right? Wait, how about that? There we go.